I was very cash rich at one point. I'd always have 4 mil in the bank. But now I've probably got 5 grand in and I'm like, fucking hell, how am I going to pay for this?
Very few UK entrepreneurs have cracked America.
Mate, I cracked Australia, I cracked South Africa. I got that brand everywhere. No one knows this, but I had JD as a business partner. I bought them out. Got a court order against me where I cannot speak to certain retailers till the end of next month.
We're close to it though.
We're close. You should feel like you can do anything, but society go, maybe you can't do that. No way. My son's not allowed to say the word can't. It's either we're normal people or ADHD. Just all of us got the same thing. Any man you speak to says the same thing. I can't really remember that part of my life too much. It's just gone.
I genuinely can't remember the last time I cried.
Are you unhappy? Right, there you are. Take your glass off and cry.
I don't think I can.
Do it. The guy that I'm in court with, I love to death. Both kids when we started the brand. Who matter who done what. Lost a lot of money, man. Billions.
You think it's your fault?
This is a part of the story that needed to happen. Because I'm at 0 right now.
You saw a spirit?
Spirit when I was 6, yeah. My mum was screaming. 2 seconds later, I see this blue thing walk past my room. And they obviously said, like, I've had the gift of being able to see spirits.
Have you ever worn something and it's made you feel more confident? You move smoother and you've got a spring in your step. Fashion isn't only about how you look, but how you feel as well. Gone are the days when it was the thing to be stick thin, where people would have a can of cola and a cigarette on their lunch break to upkeep the unrealistic image that was required to fit in. People are more aware now, more health conscious, and strive for a longer lasting feeling than the look of approval from a crush, a boss, or a stranger in the streets. We all want to feel that we're doing good for ourselves, because the better we feel, the better we look and perform in every aspect of life. And that's why I couldn't be happier to introduce to you the first sponsor of this podcast, Humantra. Humantra is a global wellness brand that sells plant-based, sugar-free electrolyte and antioxidant drinks. Feeling good starts from within, and starting your day off with Humantra, you get clear of brain fog, increased energy, less susceptible to headaches and inflammation, and a mixture of essential elements that your body is lacking. Just like putting a good outfit together, Humantra makes you feel and look good too. The colours of these things are insane. The flavours are elderberry, Himalayan lime, berry pomegranate, and my personal favourite, lychee. Feel good, look good, try Humantra.
You guys are unbelievable. Already, tens of thousands of you have listened to and watched the podcast. Not for 1 minute did I think that in the first few months of release, we would already be at this point. We were even in the top 10 charts after the first month. The lineup of guests I have for you in the following months is amazing. Some of them have never even done public interviews or podcasts before, but trust me, you will definitely have heard of their brands and names. If you want to know as soon as they're released, please make sure you have subscribed and followed me, Ben Gallagher, on your favourite social media platform. That's BenGallaga. This gets more eyeballs on our episodes, which gives us more traction to get even more amazing guests. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy this one.
Today's like the second time I've ever met you.
Yeah.
I met you briefly at Amy Smales' Odd Muse show. And when you walked through the door, I was like, oh my God, I need to introduce myself to this guy. Because obviously I've looked at you and your journey since you started, well, since you were on Towie, but since you started Mallet. And I don't know whether you remember this interaction too well, but I came up to you.
What, Odd Moves?
Yeah.
Mate, you sit opposite me, but 3 rows down to the left.
No, but exactly what you said to me. So I went up to you and I shook your hand and said, oh, I love what you've created. And you introduced me to your friends you were with. And then I said, oh, I'm excited to see what you do. And you were like, no, watch what I'm about to do.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Oh, my God. I remember it, actually. Yeah.
And I walked off thinking, I wonder what he's going to do next with Mallet. Like, this guy has got something mad planned. Like, you looked so serious and so focused when you told me. And I was, like, taken aback a bit. And I was like, I'm excited what he's about to do.
Yeah.
And a few months later, you start your own brand. Yeah. Completely different to Mallet. So if you rewind 6 months from our interaction, tell me what's gone on since then.
You know, if you look back to that as well, the show, I was holding a crystal in my hand the whole time.
Were you?
Yeah, it was the first time that I'd worn a pair of citrine trainers out.
No way.
Yeah, I had them on in that show. It was like under the radar. So this time last year, yeah?
Yeah.
It's actually a year ago. No, it wasn't. It was Fashion Week. It was a year
Of
ago
course.
now.
Yeah, a year ago.
It could be a year ago today, actually.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Wow. The universe is amazing, man. Yeah. God, like the last 6 months, I never thought I'd be where I am, but it's been a roller coaster to say the least.
What was it like leading up to that 6 months to then, though? Because it was still super under the radar. And I don't think enough people know what you've actually been through for the last 18 months.
Oh, mate. What was it like? Mate, do you know what? I feel like I can't really remember that part of my life too much. It's just gone. The last year of my life has just been gone. I'm just sort of now getting out of it. Yeah, it's been mad, man. It's been mad. Like, when you think of where I was to where I've become and things like that, I said a lot of stuff around that time. So just for example, around that time, I was famously said on something, I'm willing to lose it all to start again. And did I think I was going to lose it all when I said that? Probably not, but I fucking did. It was like, it was just such an intense time of my life, so much different emotions and stuff like that. And I remember seeing you that night, actually, and it was the start of when it really started becoming more than just an idea, and I was about to actually release. It's been a crazy journey, man.
So when you wore them out for the first time,
Yeah.
did you feel that, like, oh, this is the start of something now?
I got blisters on my foot, actually. I got blisters that night. There's a picture of me at the bus stop, and I got blisters on the bottom of my feet where the stars are, because the crystal was an inch bigger than what it is right now. I had like a pure crystal in the bottom of the shoe.
So you were just testing them out back then?
Yeah. It was just testing, and then now I've made it so it's the most comfortable sneaker on the market, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I've done 250,000 steps per sneaker to make sure of it. But that night, I remember I went home, I had blisters on the bottom of my feet. And yeah, it was an overwhelming time. But I knew from the moment that I put them on where it was going to go. And it still hasn't even started. Not at all. We ain't even, I don't even feel like I've launched properly yet.
And how long has the brand been actually going?
Since the 1st of January this year.
So you're not even a year old.
But I've not even started yet, because there's a lot more to it, and I'm not going to go into the negatives and things like that, but with me doing this, it's caused me a lot of problems. And I had a court order against me to basically say that I wasn't allowed to sell to retail until the 31st of October. And I'm not being able to have certain conversations with people and stuff like that. So you can imagine, like, the first year of this brand has been, like, it's supposed to go like that. It's been crazy. So I'm actually still got a court order against me where I cannot speak to certain retailers until the end of next month.
We're close to it, though.
Oh, boy, we're close. Boy, we're close. And there's like, I've just been learning the lessons, kicking back, like recovering, licking my wounds from all the madness that's happened. But you just reminded me and said, that was a year ago when I see you. And the excitement I had and everything I was going through then come to crash and burn very fast. But now I feel like the excitement's coming back, and I feel like I'm back in them shoes when I see you that night. Yeah. That's why it's really weird sitting here talking to you.
Yeah.
Because I remember what I was going through when I see you and the excitement. But yeah, it's been a bit of a journey, man. A very, very, very tough journey.
So we're obviously talking about the brand Citrine at the moment.
Yeah, well, both.
Yeah. If we start with Mallet, when did you? It was obviously your baby. Mm-hmm. Like, you lived and breathed it every single day.
Yeah.
How did you know when it was the right time to step away?
I'll give my heart and soul to it, man. And it was, you end up building up you become, when you think about people who are really smashing it now, I feel sorry for them to an extent, especially when it's their first time, because it comes to crash and burn very fast. And the reason that happens is because you think everything's going to last forever. And it's such your baby, and you feel like, wow, cool, I'm 20, 30 million, I'm doing mad numbers, you become this beast, it's always going to go. And in reality, it doesn't work like that. So I can see far and see that a lot of them ain't got long left in them. Look at Nike, for example, with the Virgil stage, when everyone was smashing it and they was doing all them collaborations with Off-White. Look at Nike now, no one's wearing Nike, everyone's wearing On Running, everyone's wearing New Balance, Asics. I was there with Mallet, and I was in like denial really, because it was my baby, and I thought this was me forever. But I was so unhappy. There's so much going on in my life. I was so unhappy, man. And it's really hard when you're earning big money and you've become who I become really fast. And I went from nothing to something. For you to actually turn around and say, you know what, actually, no, I need to reset. Actually, this isn't going to be my life going forward.
Were you proud of the person you'd become to that point?
Nah, not really, because I don't really. When I look back at it now, and I've done a lot of like internal work on myself. No, I'm not, because I can't remember much of it, because a lot of it was just so fast and I was just so like driven. But every achievement that I got, I never celebrated none of them. And it's quite a bad place to be, because like, for example, going off subject and going into family life, when I had my little boy and I got married last year, I didn't even really take any of that in and enjoy the moment ever. So it was all big blur for me, man. And I've done a lot of work. Like, when people think of how big Mallet was, like, I know we were saying earlier it was huge in Liverpool, but mate, I cracked America, I cracked Australia, I cracked South Africa. Mate, I got that brand everywhere, and I've done it all with no experience. But to do so, you have to become a different beast. And it's fun at the time, but then at the same time it's not. It's quite a dark place to be in, because you're so scared of it all, losing it all. So I'm proud of what I've done with that brand. I'm proud that I stepped away from it though, just as much.
You said you stepped away because of a toxic relationship. Can you explain any more about that?
Look, I'm going to be honest with you, yeah? You got to be careful what you say with certain things, which I've learned, because morally we think a certain way, being from England, but not everyone does, unfortunately. So 1 minute you be all good, and the next minute you say the wrong thing, you end up in court losing everything. So I've got to be careful. But Mallet was something where, for me, I didn't care about any of the money side of it, to be honest with you. When I was really deep into it, it was just about how big I could get the company. It become like an obsession of mine. But then the people around you end up getting paid a lot of money and a lot of egos, and everything changes, and then you have disagreements. And then at the moment when things are shit, no one's around you, but when things are popping, everyone wants to be next to you. And then everyone wants their names in things, and everyone wants what you've got. And it becomes one of them things where you're like, yo, we ain't changing the formula here. This is how the brand works. It's not going to go any different. So you ended up clashing with people. And I was severely clashing for a long time. It was a long time. It was a good 5 years of my journey. It was clashing.
How did you put up with it for so long? Because 5 years
I didn't have any
such a
choice,
long
man.
time.
I didn't have any choice, mate, because I didn't feel like I was good at anything else, and it was my baby. I'm not gonna. It was like, the only way I can explain it, yeah, is I had a kid with someone, but I feel like the kid needed their dad, so I wouldn't leave no matter how bad the relationship. Fuck it, I'll take it every day. That's how I felt, because that was my baby, and I'll give everything for that. And I was so proud of it, and I had family members there, and I'd done so much for that company. Then it becomes a legal battle, which is sore when you think about it, but I'll never be burnt twice. And it's been a journey, man. It's been a journey, and when you think back at it, would I do it again? Yeah, I would. I'd do it again. And that's what separates me from everyone else. Because you have a lot of people who will come here and they're going to tell you their story and they've done really well for themselves. Put them in my position and see what happens to them. See what happens when it's up against them for a year. See if they can carry on. So I've learnt a lot, and I'm proud of who I've become. I don't have any ill feeling against like anything.
You mentioned before then, you didn't care about the money. For someone who doesn't have the money, doesn't have the cars, doesn't have the big house, they will look at you, someone who has that, and be like, "Oh, it's easy for you to say."
Yeah.
Are they right when they say that?
Yeah. Listen, before anyone watches this and tries to tell me anything different, right? I grew up in a 2-bedroom house. Me, my mum, my dad, and my brother. Yeah. Me and my brother shared a room until we was 13. When there was a flood in the kitchen, it come down and the roof fell down onto me and my brother, and it didn't get repaired for years later. I had damp on my walls. My mum and dad was constantly arguing about money. There was problems with that. My dad worked as hard as he could, and I didn't come from poverty, don't get me wrong. I had a great childhood, but I come from an area in London where things are hard. So if anyone wants to say that, oh yes, easy for you to say that, don't worry, I've been on both sides. I've had money, I've not had money, I've had money. So The thing is you use the material stuff for the inspiration. It's needed. Of course, if you're thinking what it's like to have a Ferrari, it's just human, isn't it? You want to have it. But when you get there, it's never what you think it is. And you have got to experience to say it. And I've experienced it. And I'm in the time now where my life has changed so much. I'm craving such different things now. I'm just craving peace now. Out of everything, I just want peace. I don't really want to have that mad, extravagant lifestyle ever again. Like this time when I do it, it'll be completely different. I'll be in hundreds of millions / billions. So these things are small compared to where I'm going now. It's a completely different part of my life. Like I spent so many years like flying first class around the world, and now I'm like, mate, put me in economy, man, or put me in thingy. I can't be bothered listening to people scratching their plates for the China in business class. So yeah, people have got to go through that stage that I went through in life where they want it, and that's the goal. But you do lose that quite fast. I'm going to be honest with you. It just becomes another piece of material, and a lot of ag actually.
You mentioned just then that you didn't think that you had to do mallet because you didn't think you were good at anything else.
Yeah.
So like it must have taken a lot of courage to resign as a director.
Yeah, it did. But I feel like you with age you become more, I don't know, you become a bit more confident, especially when you've done big things. It's like I've gone and flew to America and had meetings in the Empire State Buildings with like CEOs of mental companies. Like, no one knows this, but I had JD as a business partner. I bought them out. I've done the deal. Like, I done the first deal to bring them on as a shareholder, and I've done the second deal to buy them out. A lot of people will probably say that weren't the case. Fair enough, yeah, I might have had help for legal purposes. I had a lot of help. If you're watching this, you helped me. But I'd done all of that at the age of like 24. So I was doing deals with CEOs of £7 billion businesses, 24, 25. So you do get confidence. So by the time I resigned, I thought, you know what? I probably can do this again. And I just went and took the plunge and went and done it.
Do you think you got to a point in mallet where you were subconsciously chasing that feeling of how it felt at the beginning?
Yeah, it's a good feeling, man.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling. Like 0 to 10 mil is such a fun time, man. Because it's just like, you're chasing numbers and you're just chasing the hype. It's like Black Friday is crazy. It's like, oh, I'm going to have £1 million. It's the best thing ever. But when you start doing 30 mils and stuff like that, it's not as fun because it becomes more, you know it's happening. It's just sort of revolving door. But look, that part of my life is done now and I've lived it and I had the best time ever. But now I'm just ready for the future.
How do you keep it fun though?
But I don't know, man. I feel I'm having fun right now is because I'm doing everything. I'm taking care of the social media, photography, PR, marketing. I'm involved in every single part of the business.
Just be more involved.
Yeah, it's like you do lose it because you feel like, all right, well, I'm going to bring this person in now. And then you got to deal with everyone else. So you do lose the fun. Yeah,
because I think we're told that to grow your business, you need to bring in people better than you.
Yeah.
And then when that happens, and yeah, they do perform, and the business goes bigger and bigger, but then you lose the fun of it. You lose, where's my place in my business?
I'm going to be honest with you, I'm yet to find someone better than me. Deadly serious. Everyone I brought in, not one of them has been better than me.
Why do you think that?
I must have a bit of talent that I didn't know. Honestly, I'm like some people from some big companies. They get in my position and they crumble. Like it's all fun and games until you're on the front line. And honestly, this is where I'm meant to be. I actually got to the point now where it's not been luck. It's been I'm meant to do this. And I've dealt with a lot of people, and they're all right for the first few months, but then they crumble.
Yeah.
And I'm talking good people. So then you get to the point and you think, whoa, if they've crumbled and that's what I do every single day,
yeah,
I'm performing under more pressure than anyone. I must actually be talented. So that's where the fun is. Because now I know that's my space. I don't give that to someone else. I need to continue that myself and as long as I can. So that's how you keep the fun. Keep yourself on your toes, didn't you? Don't just give it away to people, which is easy to do the first time round. Now I know I would never, ever let someone come into my business and start pushing it forward. Because that's when you lose it. So that's where the fun is.
You said as well about America, so that you had Liverpool on lockdown, the UK, Australia. America's an interesting one because very few UK entrepreneurs have cracked America. Like, how does it feel to be a part of that list?
I didn't crack it to the extent where I'd done like 100 million over there. So on the terms that I done it on, yeah, I was happy with it. But at the time of my life, as I said, I weren't looking at anything else. So I wasn't really taking into consideration how I had done so well and actually done it. I was in Saks Fifth Avenue, man. Like, I was meeting the top people and the top businesses over there. I went over there and I flew over there and done a collaboration with Coogee, who like Biggie had mentioned in his songs, and I like wanted the sweaters as a kid.
The multicoloured ones.
Yeah, I didn't take any of that into consideration, man. It's like, and I did go over there and do really well, and I'd done it with no experience.
Why did you never allow yourself to celebrate the wins, to feel that you've done something really good?
Because you feel like content breeds complacency. Complacency brings failure.
Where did you learn that from?
Mahmood Kamani told me that, the founder of Boohoo. And no, was it? Yeah, it was Mahmood. Yeah, I'll never forget. I was in Dubai, and I was just starting Mallet, and he said it to me. And yeah, it's a big thing, that is, and it's true. So by the time you sit there and you're like bigging yourself up about an achievement you've made, you sort of lose what's in front of you, which is you need to stay there. To be happy with it, you need to stay there, and it's very easy to lose. It's easier to get there than it is to lose. So yeah, a lot of the time you just sort of in this drive mode, you just drive. And until after you look back and go, wow, I done that. That was actually quite cool. But I still don't think now I'm doing it to the extent that I should have really. It's mad. It's a mad feeling. I've never really thought about it, to be fair.
So creating fashion brands has made you a multimillionaire. Was it worth it?
Of course. It wasn't about the money. It kept me sane. It kept me alive, man. Like, I would have been a pisshead or a drug addict.
Why do you say that?
Because everything I do 100%. And from when I started reality TV, I went from one background to another. Went from two opposites. I went to reality TV, and the majority of the time, you go to an opening of an envelope, man. You go to any party, you go to any club, Next thing you know, you're drinking quite a lot, you're smoking, you're doing drugs. It ends up mad. That's how it ends up. And even to the best of the people, it happens. There's very few that don't. So if I'd never had fashion, I would have been laying in every day until 10 o'clock because I never had nothing to do, and I would have been going out every night of the week. But finding fashion and finding that purpose for me kept me going and got me up every morning. And I need, as a person, something to get up for every day. It's just part of who I am. I need that push. So finding fashion has just made me who I am today. So that's why if I sat there and say, oh, I've lost it all, I don't care, because I wouldn't be here without it. It was like it was the expensive university degree then on the hand. So if I never had fashion and I never had this game that I was in, I wouldn't be me. It was the best time of my life, and it's just getting started. I'm 32.
Is becoming a multimillionaire as fulfilling as you thought it would be?
No, you don't think of it like that. It's not. It's just numbers, man. If you've gone from never having a $5,000 in your account to then having 50 grand in your account all the time, then you're richer. Then you go to having $500,000 in there, then you go to having a few million in there, mate. It don't make any difference. It's like, it's nice. I'll tell you what I miss about that cash rich part of my life that I had. Because I was very cash rich at one point. I'd always have 4 mil in the bank. And I was like 29. Mad, innit, when I say it out loud. When now I've probably got $5,000 in, and I'm like, fucking hell, how am I going to pay for this? Because I'm so invested in all the businesses that I'm doing. I'm still paying legal fees as well, yeah? But that part of your life where it doesn't matter what bills comes in, or I remember I was very, very wealthy at the times of when the petrol was up and when the electric bills was up, and during COVID, I was very rich then. For me, it didn't really affect me. That's a nice feeling, knowing that my family were covered. But it ain't as nice as having that mentality where you've got to wake up and make it happen, because that is me. I love that feeling, waking up every day and going, oh, listen, I need to make this work. I have got no choice. When you've got that sort of money in the bank, you become a little bit more, it don't matter, sort that out another time. When you've got it up against you, you have to go up and get it.
It creates urgency.
does, yeah. It does. It's an uncomfortable feeling, man. But I'm fucking comfortable being uncomfortable, so it don't matter to me.
So the saying of the least money you have, the more freeing you are, is that true to a certain extent?
Can you put that into context?
So like the less money you have, because you don't have the weight of paying for that car, paying for that house, paying for that yacht, paying for that watch, paying for all this stuff, you are just free to go up and do whatever you want because you don't have that responsibility with the money.
Yeah. Well, look, I suppose when you stop earning big money and you start again and you've still got properties and your kids go to certain schools, you've still got to uplive that lifestyle and it's expensive. So it's very tough, very tough. So you have to make it happen. But at the same time, is when you're destined for them, like when you're out there and you're earning money and you want that Ferrari, it does drive you to go and do it. So having less money does make you more driven. Like, I'll never forget, man. Like I think my Ferrari was 400 grand at the time. My insurance was 20 grand a year. And I reckon I used it 4 times. And I was like, I'd sit in the office late and I'd be like, fucking hell, that Ferrari's costing me a fortune. I've never driven it. And then you start adding up the mileage of how much it's cost you per mile. You think, get rid of it. So them things just bring you more stress, man. Like at the moment, I've got like a 2012 Mercedes, yeah? I wash the car 3 times a week. I love it. I love that car to pieces. With the Ferrari, if I scratched it, I didn't give a shit. But now I've sort of got that feeling back where I really appreciate stuff. So it is nice to have the reset that I'm going through. As much as it's not comfortable, it's nice. I've had a nice time.
I want to talk a little bit briefly about your time at Towie. Because when you first started your brand, people would have looked at you and said, oh, he's only successful because he went on Towie. How did it feel when a lot of like the media, a lot of people were saying that probably close to you as well? How did it feel knowing that you were so much more than a reality TV star, that you were actually this, in your words, this sick businessman?
Give a fuck. Give a fuck what anyone says.
How do you get to that? Because a lot of people will be thinking like, I wish I could just not think about what anyone else thinks.
But because if I'm dreaming to be this person who has this brand, I am like, look, I always say this, right? I sat there when I had nothing and prayed to have this crazy fashion brand and these houses and these cars. When I become the person with the houses, the fashion brand and the cars, do you think I'm going, oh, I love all this and I really did pray for it, but I wish no one said I was that? No, I got what I needed. Give a fuck. Anyone that's doing well don't have time to worry about what anyone thinks about them because I'm too busy building something for my family. Like, the opinions of others don't make any difference on me. Not one bit.
Have you always been like that?
I suppose when I was on the show and people was getting better jobs than me and people was better looking and they was getting more PAs and I would always be, why them, not me, sort of thing. But it didn't last very long because I was like, no, fuck that, this needs to drive me now. And I'm pretty sure I'll become the most wealthiest out of all of them very fast. So really, if I sat there worrying about what people thought about me and, oh, does anyone think that I'm getting that job or do you reckon they think they're more successful? It went quite fast. And I think you need to worry about what's in front of you. Start worrying about anyone around you, thinking what they're thinking. You end up like just going into a hole. And I think that's a dangerous place. If you've got to do it for yourself, you worry about what you're thinking, not anyone else around you. You shouldn't be thinking about other people because you waste time. We ain't got time to waste. We're not here long enough. Got to show people. You got to prove yourself wrong before you start showing other people. It's an internal thing.
We've only been speaking for probably like 20 minutes, half an hour now.
Yeah.
But like, you're making me want to just go outside and run or go outside and just do something. Like, how do you have this like where does the drive and energy come from? Because it's so apparent that you have it, because I'm feeling like this already and we haven't spent that much time together. Like, where does it come from?
All right, look, we've got 80 years, let's say, yeah? We're lucky 90 years. You're going to sit there and think about something, and then by the time you've stopped thinking, you're halfway through your life. My worst nightmare is getting to the end of my life and thinking, I wish I would have done that. I want to get to the point where I'm 60, 65, and I'm so content that I've done everything that I was destined to do, that I'm at peace with my life. And I'm not going to do that by worrying about anything else. Life's for living, man. This is a game, like, it's nothing. Literally, it is nothing. These businesses, these clothes we're wearing, all of this stuff is just borrowed. It will always be left there. But if you're not fulfilled as a person, you've got that forever, man. And when your spirit leaves you, whether you believe it or not, you're going to have that forever. And for me, I want to just make sure that I'm here living, doing what I need to do. And for me, I honestly feel like a lot of it is inspiring. I need to inspire people. I need to show people where I come from that it's possible. And we've been taught this mindset of like, oh, that's for them people. Fuck that. I don't get letting one type of person, the like well-to-do rich person, have everything. I want it. So I want to go out and take everything that I'm destined to take, and I will do. So yeah, I've had a few hiccups along the way, but I'm quite proud to tell the story and say, look, I'm not bothered. I will go out and smash it. And that's just who I am. I don't know where it comes from.
Has it been like that since you were a kid?
Listen, my son's 3, yeah? And my son's got it. My son has got it. Like, that kid.
You can't be offspring of you and not have it, though.
No, he's scary, actually. So I must have been born with it. I'm the only one in my family like it. But my son is on a different level. He's negotiating certain things. I'm like, boy, if you want that, you need to work, you need to get money. I go upstairs and he's like washing his shower and he's free. He's like, you told me to work, daddy. You need to pay me now. He does this sort of thing where he just won't have it. But he's so competitive. He's like, they reckon they'll beat me in a race. I'm faster than them. I took him to the zoo yesterday. He's telling me he's faster than a lion. Like, that's how everyone should be. You should feel like you can do anything. But society gives you that thing where they go, well, maybe you can't do that. No way. My son's not allowed to say the word can't. You don't say that in my house. Just haven't done it yet. That's it. And if you fail at something, you learn the lesson. So it's never a failure. That's the mentality I've always had. I don't know anything different apart from that. My mum and dad are different. My mum's probably a bit more like me. My dad's he's very a clever man, him and my brother. Probably a bit more down to reality than I am. I think I'm just a bit off my head. My son's exactly the same. And that's how you want to be, man. You want to feel like you can be a superhero, innit? Because I honestly feel like I can do anything. Nothing I can't do.
Has there ever been a point from when you started the journey of Mallet to now that you felt, oh, maybe I am not good enough. Maybe I can't do it.
Look, I think you have thoughts every day, didn't you? Like, you have the odd... It's not that I'm like this constantly. I think sometimes you have to sit down and have a coffee and just reboot. But sometimes you sit there and go, oh, fucking hell, do you reckon there's a lot of people watching me. Did I wing it until here? Like, I see a lot of people who have done really well who haven't got what it takes. And when they get to the arena and they get to America, we've got no chance. I see it in a lot of people. And I think, am I one of them? Nah, no way am I one of them. I've got what it takes. I can go and read the room. I can go and sit down with billionaires and run the room. Done it a long time now. I've gone and flown to the maddest countries to sit down with some of the maddest people and got on with them like I've known them my whole life. So I know like I've got something in me. And it ain't a fluke. Society just tells you that you're not supposed to be who you are. And I'm not willing to let that get in the way of my mind no more. I'm on a journey. But I do think every day sometimes, oh, fuck's sake, should I have just stayed where I was and just took this shit and just earned money because it's getting tough right now? No, shut up, carry on. Sometimes I give myself a little slap. And that's just the way it is. I won't give up. This is a part of the story that needed to happen because I'm at zero right now. I've got a few quid in like property, but apart from that, I've got nothing. Don't have anything. All my assets have gone. Got a house, that's it. And I'm going to go now and do it so fast, and you're going to see this explode so fast, man. If this ain't an inspiring journey, I don't know what will be. And it had to go this way, because I can't be telling everyone how you can change your life by believing in yourself and using crystals, and then I'm just sitting there just caked all the time. Cause I can't. You got to practice what you preach, ain't you? So I'm here, and that's why I'm like it.
So you said you're at nothing now.
Yeah.
Why did you go to court?
Because after buying JD at start of 23. A few contracts stayed in place, and really the contracts that I'm in right now is a bit of an entitlement one. Gonna be honest with you, shouldn't really be putting into practice. It's sort of like because I resigned as a director, I have to now sell my shares for a discount to my partner, which is fine. It's on the articles of Company's House. Anyone can see them. It's in the public domain, so I can speak about it. I personally would have dealt with it a bit different and just done a fair buyout, but now I'm having to fight the legal part of that. So I got into a lot of contracts young, couldn't really read at the time because of my ADHD. Wanted to move forward and thought it was the best thing for my business, so done deals and paid for it as I've moved on. So I went to court on an injunction claim, which basically said I wasn't allowed to mention citrine until the end of 2025.
Because why?
Because they said that there was a working contract. Like, I was an employee of my own business.
Kind of like gardening leave?
Sort of, yeah. We got that down to October 2024, which was correct. And they didn't get the injunction, so I won that part. But with winning that part, I give a part in court where I said, look, if it's a problem where you feel like I'm going to now be a worry to Mallet, which obviously I'm shareholder of course I don't want to damage the business. So I won't talk to any retailers. You got my word. But they didn't just take my word, they give me an injunction. So because of that, all of the money from both sides we've lost. And look, to be honest, it should never have happened. We was both kids when we started the brand. Like, who matter who done what and who worked the hardest, which I think a lot of people can see who was the main driving force. We shouldn't have really got in that place. I think a lot of ego and a lot of things like that. And I feel like we're coming at the end of it now, and it's like we've had a big punch up for all this time, and then we're both hurt, and you sort of want to give them a little cuddle and go, fucking hell, you feeling all right? Lost a lot of money, man. Millions.
Do you think it was the other partner driving it, or the people around him driving it?
Look, I'll try not to speak on things that I don't really know. I feel like if I don't know enough about it, I don't want to talk on it, but I don't know, man. I think it's a lot of... you could look at me leaving to say that I fucked things up. I could say that I was pushed. Everyone's got their own thing on what happened. No one really hurt each other that much. It should never really got to it. But someone should have given him first. And unfortunately, it didn't happen, so it went the whole way. And we're here now, and we need to deal with it. But I've got no bad blood. I've got no bad feelings, man. I think bad feelings, the only thing that does is hurts you internally because it holds you back. And I don't have any bad blood with anyone. I don't have any enemies with anyone. I've had millions of tear-ups, man. And I'll have millions going forward. But none of it's personal, it's just business.
How do you go through something like that and not have, like, not anger, but, like,
it's
resentment?
It's a dark feeling because it's bad energy, man. For you to go back and have that hatred, it's a low vibration. I can't be on a low vibration. I'm pushing positivity out there. So I need to practice what I preach. I can't tell everyone the best is yet to come, but then sit there pissed off. Like, what if everything I prayed for was to get to here? It is what it is. So you do have it. Like, I reckon in a year, I've had about 2 or 3 blips where I can't really control my emotions and I'm really angry and I come out of some really stupid things and I start being the old me and I have to just give myself a slap and go, come on, man, realise the vision.
There's a great quote, which I think you'll love, is... And once I realised this, I stopped blaming myself for having those moments of anger, of frustration, of like hate. It's like you can't control your first thought, but you can always control your second.
Exactly, and exactly that. And I feel like I've done so much so young. Take it easy, man. This is a year off. Like, it is what it is. It's a year off, and I'm ready to go again. I've made mistakes. I'm not completely in the right. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not. I've dealt with things bad. I haven't dealt with everything right. I'm not like someone that's just clean-cut genius. It's just not who I am. I'm rough. I'm rough around the edges.
Scrappy.
I'm scrappy. That's how I roll. Like, I'm not going to sit here like some of the other people and tell you that everything's perfect, because it's not, because that's not how it works. Like, when I sit down with George from Represent, me and him are on the same mission, but we're night and day. I've done talks with George before where George is very clear cut. He's like, does this and this, and that's how it works. For me, it's not like that. But we both work in different ways when we both get to the same destination. Mine is, I'm always going to be in trouble. I'm always going to be fucking like the one who's fucked up. It's always going to be me. I'm always going to speak the same. I'm always going to go up and down. 1 minute I'm fat, 1 minute I'm skinny, 1 minute I'm in a good place, next minute in a bad place. But at the same time, that's just my life. So I'm never going to go back and try and beat myself up for it. So I have the dark thoughts and think, fuck, how did I get here? And then I'll go, come on, put yourself back together, man. We've got work to do. Within minutes, I'm back there. I don't let it go to bed with me that night. I wake up the next day, every single day, fresh, ready to go. And no matter what stress that I've got going on, how hard it is, I'll go to bed at 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I will sleep and not think of it until 4 in the morning when I wake up. That's it.
How did the court case affect the people around you?
Everyone's hurt, man. Yeah, everyone's hurt, bruv. No one's come out of this without pain. I feel for the families, man. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you.
On both sides?
Yeah, completely. I really do. I'm really apologetic about how this is affected people. It was never my intentions for it to affect people.
You think it's your fault?
No, I feel like.
Why are you sorry for those people?
Sometimes you got to be the bigger person, man. And sometimes there's ways of dealing with things, but when you're in the mix of stuff, you end up just going tit for tat. Maybe should I have reached out and done things different? I don't know, man. I think it was 10 years of anger, which probably all happened at once. And even now, man, I don't want no one to be hurt out of this. I don't want people's families to be like worse off. I don't want George has had to see me go through stress with money and considering I've had to sell all my assets and things like that. And deep down, the guy that I'm in the court with, I love to death. We had a lot of love for each other. I still love him, man. It's like I always love him. It's like when you've got a kid with someone, you might think they're a prick, but I still got love for him because we learnt a lot for each other. And maybe with years to come, maybe I'll look at it different and I might be able to sort things out. But right now, I just wish it didn't get as bad as it did for the family's sake. But for me, I learnt a lot and I loved it. I thought it was fucking amazing because I learnt more about me in them dark times than I ever would from going through the good times. I just wish that it didn't really hurt each other's families because it has hurt each other's families a lot.
How long were you in court for? How many times were you back and forth?
This has been happening a long time, man. This has been happening since a year now. But a year in litigation isn't a normal year. Mate, the ups and downs are just insane.
Why? Because you think you've won one and then
I'll take kicks off that though. And this is the mad thing. This is why you shouldn't really have problems with me, yeah? Is because I like the bad parts just as much as I like the good parts. I get dopamine from all of it. And you're messing with someone with ADHD. So I'm having the time of my life, man. Don't think that I'm on the floor here, because I'm not. I'll be in a tent outside and I'll still enjoy it. I don't give a fuck.
Did it ever get personal? Or was it strictly just with the business?
Oh, things were said, man, yeah, I suppose. Could have been worse. No one physically got hurt, I suppose, innit? But, mate, look, to anyone that's in my position, yeah, and to anyone that's going through what I'm going through, trust me, at the time you think it's a good idea, yeah, I'm right, I'm going to go and thingy, you're going to harm yourself just as much as you're going to like harm the other side. You will end up being hurt. No one walks away from this sort of stuff, right, with no cuts. It's a tough thing to go through. Personally, I feel like you have to go through it though to become who I am. And another thing is I think to become a serious success, you have to lose it and get it back. Because you can fluke it once, twice you can't. So I feel like it's written for me to go through this. But if you can try and avoid it, try and just let the ego go, man, because it's not a nice place to be in. It really isn't, especially if you have children. If you have children, you have people rely on you. Don't get in this position, man. It's not nice.
If you could go back, would you change how you did it? Would you change how you reached out? Or are you grateful for how it has happened because of the person that's made you become through going through it?
Listen, I might contradict myself and sound everything. I don't have regrets.
Life is a bunch of contradictions.
I'm a walking contradictory. Honestly, 1 minute I'll go into the office and I'll go, "What are you doing? Why the fuck are you painting that wall that colour when you told me to yesterday?" I'll go, "No, I didn't." Why are you looking like that? And I'm like, "No, I didn't. It looks shit." I was like, "You said to do that." And I'm like, "Oh, all right then." And then the day later, I'll go, "That looks so good."
Yeah.
It's just, I'm like that. And it's just how I am. It's just how I am, man. And yeah, I contradict myself a lot with what I do, but I wouldn't change the way things was, man. I wouldn't change anything. I honestly wouldn't. Because it makes me me.
You are going to have such a completely different perspective to this because obviously we've both gone into business for our first businesses with partners. And from my experience, I would advise everyone to go through with partners, but your lens is just completely different. So what are the pros and what are the cons of going into business with a partner? Because obviously, I hope it doesn't end the way with my brother, how it's ended with your experience.
It could though.
It can always happen. Anything can always happen.
Yeah, no, it really could.
So would you advise other people to get a partner moving forward for them?
Look, whatever anyone says about how I assisted, I'm going to say, in building that company, right? I was a roadman when I started that company. I couldn't talk properly. I didn't know how to conduct myself. I was fucking rude. I would wear gyms, but everyone wears gym stuff now and it's cool, yeah?
Yeah.
Man, I was 10 years ago when I started Mallet, I went to my first meeting with the corporate banking in gym stuff and a camo body warmer. It's like, I was off the streets, man. I didn't know how to thingy. So, at the time, that first 6 months to a year when I was with my partner, he taught me everything I knew. He taught me everything I knew.
How did you meet?
Friends of friends.
Okay.
And I'm forever grateful for him because he taught me things that I didn't know about myself. And he carries on today to keep doing that. Even if it's in an Aggie environment, I'm still learning more. And he had this thing about him where he was professional, he done his thing, he was good, I'm going to be honest with you, and this is just from me, my opinion, I just grew a lot faster to becoming someone who's madly obsessed with what I'd done and become very good at it. But I'm not saying it was a bad move. We earned millions together. How can you regret that? I had no money. Like, his family lent us the money to start. They put a roof over our head for us to have this warehouse. When the order used to come through, we used to race each other to go and pack the order. We went through the rough and the smooth together. But I've got a different mentality when it comes to things, and I was obsessed. It had my name on the door. I was obsessed with it. So I built and grew to be this person. And now I'm saying it out loud. Did I probably resent that we grew apart? Probably, yeah, because we've gotten so well. But I wouldn't say don't have a partner, because I couldn't have done it without him. But it's hard to admit that when you're going through it, because you feel like you're doing the day-to-day work and you're this and you're that, you're the designer, you're the one that's talking to everyone. But if you go back to the start, would I have got Mallet off the ground without my partner? No. So if I lose it, you can have it, man. Like, let me get a few quid out of it, though. But if I end up losing it all now, I wouldn't. You never do anything by yourself. You think you do. And it's the first time I've even thought about this. And I'm heart on the sleeve guy. I don't really have that ego no more where I feel like I have to say, yeah, I'm the man, because I know I am. I don't have to prove nothing. In the start of building things, everyone has an impact on your business. Even when you say hello to that DPD driver or the thingy, he has an impact on your business, because when the days are shit, he might smile at you in the right way and it makes you lifted. Everyone helps you. You don't do anything by yourself. You ain't got that many sets of hands. Your PA, your warehouse worker, they all play a big part. But what becomes in the middle of all of it is money. Because you think you deserve more than everyone else and you resent them. So if you've got a partner, even if it gives you 5 years worth of experience and it ends in a bad way, as long as you learn from it, you've done a good thing. Life's about learning, man, not about walking off the planet and leaving a £2 billion, because you can't take it with you. But the experience and the way that you live your life and how you can push that onto others is the most important thing. My son won't make my mistakes. That's the most important thing. It's not about the money. I'll earn the money back now. I can't earn the money doing it. I fucking sell teeth whitening strips. I've wanted to and earn millions. So don't be put off by these sort of conversations. Just learn from it. Think before you do things. Not everyone's out to get you. There's always good times and bad times. When someone gets married, yeah, they ain't expecting divorce. But it happens. But you got to take the good look come with it as much as the bad.
When did this mindset all come? Because obviously when you were starting Mallet and you were going through that journey, you never thought like this. Like, when did you start thinking of all this, like, a more holistic view of life?
I've always had it.
Okay.
I've always had it since the age of 6. Yeah, since the age of 6. I'm not going to get into the spiritual side of it, but something happened to me when I was 6. It was like a bit of an awakening. Some people say it's a load of bollocks, which you're entitled to say. Some people will agree with me. And this was before everyone was talking about law of attraction and manifesting. Everyone
Can you
was
say
talking
what
about
it is?
11.
Or do you not
I
want to
see
get
a
into
spirit
it?
when I was 6.
You saw a spirit?
A spirit when I was 6, yeah. And basically my mum was screaming. She had an infection in her root. If anyone has ever had that, it's probably one of the worst pains that you can have. Is in her tooth, right? And I remember her screaming. At the time, my dad wasn't around. Screaming. God help me. I could hear her praying. Because we're Irish Catholics. Praying, my mum. And she was saying the guy's name. And all of a sudden, she just stopped. Everything stopped. And I thought, she's fell asleep. But then 2 seconds later, I see this blue thing walk past my room, sort of pop in the room, and then carry on. And it scared the living daylights out of me. And then I didn't say anything for a long time, but I used to sprint up because my bedrooms was downstairs in my house and the front room was upstairs. And I used to sprint up the stairs because I felt like something was following me, and it became a really uncomfortable feeling. So about 6 months later, I told my mum, and my mum was like, "Oh, all right." Instead of saying, "Oh, you got an imaginary friend who you've seen something," she was like, "All right. When was it?" And I explained it to her, and she just started smiling. It was a guardian angel that I'd seen. And so she took me to a church, which is like a spiritual church. And they obviously said, like, I've had the gift of being able to see spirits, and I had it since. And funny enough, on that time, I didn't speak to my brother about it. My brother's 3 years older. He's my best friend. He's like, we do everything together.
Ben?
Yeah. How do you know?
I've heard you speak about him before.
Yeah, he's my best mate, and like he's always been like my protector, and he's always he's never shot me down for things. He's always listened to me, and then years after I told him what happened, he went, "Wow," he said, "I thought I was going mad."
No.
I went, "Did you see it?" But I didn't see it. He said, "I felt it, though." He said, "I just knew everything was going to be alright, so I shut my eyes." Years later. Wow. So my brother remembered it. It actually scarred him. He remembered it, and I explained it to him. So from then, I started picking up energies. And when I got to the age of around 18 and 19, it started becoming really uncomfortable because I started losing people around me at that age, and then sort of getting feelings of spirits more and more because I'd like lost my nan, and then someone would get killed and I'd lost a friend, and then I'd go through places and I'd get the shivers. I just done it as I walked in here, actually. I had to get my breath outside because I felt a bit of negativity coming through me. But with that, my mum started taking me to like spiritualist places and churches and stuff like that, and they would always pick me out of everyone and give me lessons and say things, and that just gave me like a wider feeling on life because I understood that there was more to it than just right now. So it's not all about this life, it's about what you do good in this life to the next one, and that's personally what I believe in. So that has given me the encouragement to say, look, don't worry, man, there's a greater meaning to life. So that's where it's come from, and I've had it a long time. But when I got to 18, 19, I've completely cut it out because I went to view a property of a friend of mine, and it was in a clock tower, and I fainted in there and I had to get pulled down. And it was, when I left there, it turned out it was an old mental asylum, and it was up for rent so cheap because there was a bad spirit up there, and it had tapped into me. So I'd completely cut that part out. And then, funny enough, what it really did come back in is I went on a show called Most Haunted with Rylan, and it was in an old school in East London, not far from where I come from. And I went in there and I was just connected. I was seeing everything. I was like, oh my God, this is dark. It was like an old boarding school, so you can imagine what the old man was doing in there to the kids.
You can watch that.
I couldn't see that, but I could. Like, I walked in there and we had a psychic with us, and I was like, there's a man standing up there and he's looking down at these kids as they're playing. It seemed well weird, and the psychic woman went, that geezer's a nonce. And
is this on TV now? You can watch it?
Yeah, I think you can see it.
No
Yeah,
way.
Yeah. I had to leave. I couldn't stay in there. So then after that, I was like, my psychic ability obviously become open again, and that's when everything started again. So I've always had it. I've always had it my whole life, since I was 6.
This leads us great onto what I want you to talk about loads today. Is like citrine.
Yeah. Let me tell you something before I finish.
Go on.
Yeah. So I went and see I'm going to call it like a alternative medicine doctor, because over this time of year I get a really bad chest, and they said it was asthma, and I didn't believe it was. And she goes to me and this was last Friday, she goes to me as I was there, you got your psychic ability when you were 6. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, because you had a bit of trauma when you was 3, and it sparked something in your brain which gave you learning difficulties, which then meant they come down to help you navigate through your life. Did that happen or not? How mad was it? We've not spoke about that, have we? Have we spoke about that? She actually went to me, hey, you've had a bit of extra help because of your learning disability. And my learning disability was my ADHD and other things. So that was last week that happened. So all of it comes turning back round. So because I've always had that feeling, I start like diving into, and I've really been open to stuff throughout my life. And then the crystals come around. That's what happened. And that's how citrine was born.
What is citrine?
Citrine is a crystal which is formed underground over millions of years and used in Chinese culture to attract wealth, prosperity and abundance. So in Chinese like Feng Shui, people used to put in their hats and they use it to attract wealth. Chinese houses, they put on the left side of their house, which is the wealth house, that's the wealth corner. They put on their tills, their cash registers to attract wealth and abundance. Creators use it to stop mental block and writer's block. It was been known in history for thousands of years. And citrine is Old French for citrus, and they call it citrus because it's yellow like a thing. That's why my trainers smell like citrus.
Lemon.
Because I infused them with citrus to bring that back to the story. And I lost a friend and my psychic ability started again. I felt like something was in my house, so I called a psychic to come round and sage my house. And when they was there, they said, your friend's in your house, you've picked something up on your travels, you need to drop him back off. So anyone watching this, yes, I know I sound mad, I am. I just had my little boy at the time, and Georgia was like, I feel weird in the house. Next minute, all of her Prada bags have dropped off the shelf. So I go upstairs. I'm like, why is it all Prada bags on the floor? No other brand, just Prada. Get the psychic round. She starts laughing. She said, the guy that's just hit him off's got a white Prada shirt on. Do you know who this is? I was like, yep, I know this is. He died a few years before. She said, you need to give a message to his mum. And I was like, okay, can you tell him to get the fuck out of my house? She's like, yeah, when you go and give the message to his mum. Drop him back off to where you found him. So I jump back into my car, put the baby in the back seat. George gets in the back seat, put the spirit in the front seat. Come, I'll drop you off. Drove 70 miles away to his resting place. Opened the door to get out of the car. Ended up going down the road because I needed to piss into a pub. And as I walked into the pub, this guy's mum's walked out. No. And I'd never met her. Yeah, I'd known him 20 years. I'd never met his mum. I'd known him through his dad's side.
How did you know that was his mum? His mum?
Because someone was with her. And I was like, something mad just happened. I need to bump into his mum. And they was like, yeah, that's his mum there. So fast forward a year, 2 years later, when me and Georgia lost the baby, we was getting readings. I was getting a reading. The woman said, your destiny isn't what you think it is. It's right in front of you. And I looked in front of me and there was a citrine crystal. And I'd never noticed it before. All I knew that when the sun shined and went onto this yellow crystal, it used to remind me of Spain and know that better times was coming. So I was like, how the fuck's that get in here? So then I looked back on my camera roll. I had no idea. Georgia don't know how it got in there. Basically, the psychic that come out to sage my house left it as a gift for giving the message.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it was a mad way in how it got in there. So I started carrying it. And I felt like just give me a bit of, whether you believe in this crystal stuff or not, and you believe in the spiritual side, if you've got something that every time you touch it or every time you look at it reminds you why you started and what your journey's going to be, you've got better chance of getting there. So I kept losing it. And then like, I'd done this spiritual thing. The woman's like, yeah, we're going to put that in a shoe. And I'm like drawing the shoe and I'm cutting the shoe as I'm on the phone. Next thing you know, citrine was born. I'm the only person in the world that can put a gemstone in the sole of a sneaker, and it's clear cut, so the energy can go through the floor straight through the crystal into the bottom of your foot, and that's what I've done. So I've got a million-year-old crystal in one of my trainers outside, which is certified in a testing centre in China. The crystal's been sourced in Brazil, and that's it.
Where did you get the idea to put it into a shoe?
Mate, I was tuned into spirit when it happened. I was doing it with them. It's like, mate, I sound like a nut, don't I? I sound like, when I tell this story, I just sound mad, but I've got to tell the story as it is. There was a psychic called Katie who changed my life, who we've had, I feel like, a lot of ups and downs, because whilst I'm losing it, it's very hard for this woman to be saying, don't worry, it's all going to be all right. And I'm going, you fucking telling me it's all going to be all right? I'm losing my ass. Da-da-da. She's like, chill. It's all good. Me and Katie basically done something where she gave me the message and we just come up with this. And she was like, that's Crystal's going to end up in a shoe. Because I'm like, I want to put this, what am I doing with this brand? I'm going to do something. Well, I need to know what I'm going to do. And I'm like, it's Crystal. How about we put in a shoe? It's just developed like that. It's literally how it happened.
Who's Citrine aimed at?
The world. More so, and this was the question with Mallet. Everyone just go, who's your target customer? And I just go, everyone. It's not how it works, man. Citrine is based off a customer who has gone through ups and downs in their life and now just wants the best. And that's everyone, I think. Because when you go through trauma, you're just looking for things to make your life better, aren't you? So my customer right now is in between 35 and 65, actually. And it's people who want to change their lives. They've been through the shit. Now they want to try something else.
You'd expect it to be that age then, right?
Yes, wellness. Pure wellness. That when you go through shit, you're just looking for the answers, aren't you? And I'm just giving you something which is making you feel better. And every time I put that shoe on, man, I feel so much better. And when every time I take them off, I don't feel as grounded. It's just how it is.
Do you feel pressure for it to be successful because of how successful Mallet was?
Life's written, man. It's already done. Now, I'm going to sit there and drive myself mad about where it's going to be. It is what it is. But I know where it's going. I know exactly where it's going. It'll go to unmanageable places for someone like me. That's all I'm going to say. So it will get to the point where it will just be out of my hands. It will be that big. So I'll have to pass it over to someone. I don't have I am very talented. And as I said, I've not met no one better than me yet. But the size of how this business will go will take a lot more than someone like me to take care of it. It's going to be huge. Because it answers to so many more customers that it's not just a pair of sneakers.
You said before you struggle to hire people who are as good as you.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you want to take Citrine to how big
Yeah.
it will be,
Yeah.
how are you going to identify the right people to take it there?
I feel like what will happen here, yeah, is that I am amazing at getting things to, like, I can get something to 100 million quite fast. Going from 100 million onwards is corporate, man. Like you have to give it to that corporate thing, but you get the DNA of the brand out there. You put where the shops are, how they're gonna look. Like, for example, if you think of a Joe Malone bottle, they look the same, don't they? It's Joe Malone. Joe Malone, the founder, done that. She don't own that no more.
Yeah.
But it's still got its brand DNA in there. Louis Vuitton, same thing. Them 10 years of 5 to 10 years of getting there is a really important part. That's why I need to be the driving force. But once you get there and people know it for that, you can let someone manage it. They'll be better than me at doing it. They'll be much better than me because they won't have the emotion that I've got attached to it. So I've got a really exciting few years ahead of me building the company. But then when it gets to the point where it needs to be maintained, it won't be for me. And that'll be the time where I'll probably sell it off or sell shares or bring in some kind of private equity or whatever it is. And it'll be for the best of the brand, not for me. Because I want the brand to last forever. So...
Do you know, like, those companies that often get to, like, £1 billion, like, statuses, they often do, like, quite strange things, like, not necessarily strange things, but unorthodox. So, like, it not normal, and that's why they've got there, because no one else has thought of that idea, which is what Citrine is. But would you ever, like, hire, like, a psychic or, like, a spiritualist to come in?
Yeah, I've got one.
In the company to help grow the company of what it means and what it feels?
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, true.
It's me. I'll do the vibes, but like Katie, for example, I'm speak to all the time. Like, if I don't get a vibe, I've got Sarah as well, and I've got another lady called Julie Wilson. Like, she's absolute blinder. She's been there through such hard times, and she's given me a lot of light. Sarah, Katie, and Julie. Them people will always be around me. So I hope in time I'll be able to give back to them like how they have in their time. And then people will always be the ones to bring the vibes. I think it's important to do that.
Do you think that's what separates you from a lot of other people, that you're so open and so willing for this information and for this kind of new world that people just disregard?
Yeah, listen, they can disregard it and they can roll their eyes and say I'm a lunatic, but when it's got £1 billion valuation and you're still doing the same thing, then fucking hell, should have really took a leaf out of my book.
What do you say to those people who say like spiritualism is like hippy dippy crap, basically?
Like, I'm a hippie.
Yeah.
Call me what you want, man. Call me what you want, baby. £1 billion. Call me whatever the fuck you want. No problem whatsoever. As I said, I don't have any fault towards anyone like that. It's just move forward. And at the moment, yeah, things spiritual. You say it's hippie stuff, but have you seen the amount of people you see posting like 11/11 on social media now, and manifesting and things like that? 5 years ago, you never see any of that. It's new. Watch in another 5 years. I'm just early. That's all I am. I'm just early. Everyone will be doing it soon. It's just how you just can't get away from it. Social media is so powerful. You see someone changing their life and they're saying that they've got it because of that. You'd be mad not to try it. Like, you'd be mad. So that's where we are. It's mad, isn't it? It is.
I love asking this question because I am nowhere near wanting kids or planning to have kids or anything like that. But my brothers and sisters, I'm one of four, they're starting to have children, and it's so interesting to see like how they're changing as people. How has having Brody, your child, changed you?
You have to change everything, man. I was just like this aggy vision, this is how it needs to work, to being I have to become someone when I go home. I have to change. So I've got two parts of my life. One's the business man and the other's the family man now. I never had that before, and I just want to teach him everything and make sure that he's the best at everything he does. Just makes you a different person.
Why?
Because it shows you what life's all about. It's like you go through stages. First you get your first car, you think that's the love of your life, and then you get like your first dog and you think, I'll never love more than that dog. But when you hold a kid, it's like, whoa, nothing compares, man. And it's just like, it's my duty to make sure that kid is the best version of him. So I put my life and soul into that boy. Everything he's got of mine. I teach him things that I learned along the way. Like my kid, I'm very tough on him. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm quite a strict parent, which a lot of people might frown on. Like I'm constantly putting him into place. I'll be like, excuse me, we didn't say sorry, or you didn't say please sorry. Well, I got myself in a bit of a thing there. I said sorry, I didn't say please sorry. Like when he asks for something, I make his deliverance is very. You'd see when he's like, excuse me, please can I have this? He don't just take. If he's got friends around or someone's in the house, he goes, Mummy, please can I bring this person into this room? He's very like that, yeah? And for me to do that, it's really tough when you've got a kid. But I know I'm getting him ready for life. And now he's 3, it's paid off so much. This kid is like, he's like a 10-year-old.
Why do you raise him like that? Were you raised like that?
No, not at all. But I don't want him to ever go into any environment and feel uncomfortable.
Have you experienced that?
Of course. When I started being around people for money, like I didn't know how to use a knife and fork properly. Like, and still to this day, like, I don't really know. My manners were not great. I've not really got the best manners, I'm going to be honest.
I noticed something as soon as you came in, though. You were so polite to me, but also the people on the door who were fixing the door, coming up, introducing yourself to Chris. Like, that was something that I definitely noticed with you.
Yeah. I think that's important because it's like the guy that cleans the changing rooms in my gym, every day without fail, I chat to him every day and I make him feel on top of the world. Like, I weren't taught that. And no one was really, I suppose, where I come from. But I think now it's really important because I've travelled the world and I've seen different cultures, and it's really important to have them sort of morals.
A lot of people listening would be like, oh, I wish I could make someone feel good. It's like, oh, I'm just not confident to go up to someone and like big them up and like make their day essentially by just one little interaction. How do you do it?
Don't know. I said to some fella earlier, I was like, hey, take your headphones out. He was like, huh? I was like, you lost loads of weight, man. I've been away 3 months. You look mad. You're unbelievable. It's like 6 a.m. He was like, mate, thanks. I'm like, no problem, brother. You look fresh. And that makes me feel good doing that. I don't know. I've always been like it. I love the underdog, man. I love the underdog story. I've always been like it. And I teach my little boy, and people will frown on this. So I say, listen, you don't hit people. It's not what you do. But if you see someone getting bullied, you make sure that you go and look after them. And if they hit you, you make sure you hit them back. And he says it every single morning. He says the same thing. He says, I'm strong, I'm powerful, and I'll do the right thing. Like, if I can bring this kid up with them morals, then he can do whatever he wants. And he'll never feel out of place in certain situations. And that confidence is key. Because my accent was really, really strong. And people could never understand what I was saying when I went abroad. So that's why I started learning Spanish. I thought, I ain't going to live like this. So I started learning how to speak properly. I still sound fucked now. But I think it's really important that I do that to my son. Because that's what it's all about. And that's why kids change you, man. And make you be the best version of yourself. Yesterday, I was crossing the road with someone. And the light was red. But the man was red still, and this person crossed the road, and I stood there like that. And he looked at me and started laughing. He was like, what are you doing? I was like, the man ain't green, I ain't crossing yet. She's like, why? I was like, because I'm trying to teach Brody it, so I need to lead by example. So I need to do. I try not to shout at his mum in front of him, because I don't think that's the way of doing it. I don't argue with my missus in front of my son, or I try not to. I have my odd times, but it makes you put yourself into the right place. You need to carry yourself properly, because that's how the example I'm going to set to my kids.
It makes you think about every action you take.
Every time I go out eating with my son, yeah, I say, Brody, go and sort the bill out. And he's free, I swear to you. He'll go over, he'll ask for the bill, bring the bill to me, and I'll tell him what to put in because of the tip, and he'll pay for it on my card. Like, all the time. To the point now he carries these, like, little euros, and he'll go out and he stops tipping people with them. And another thing that I've taught him, and this is the proudest thing, if he's walking around the street and he's got sweets and he sees a homeless person, he'll go and give his sweets to him. Facts, every single time. And any money, he'll stop me and say, Daddy, can you give them some money or offer them something to eat? And I go, why? He goes, because they're not as lucky as us. He knows that we're lucky to be where we are. I drill that into my son. He knows that we're in a very, very good situation and we could always be so worse off. And he's full of gratitude.
Why do you feel it's so important to do that for Brody? Because a lot of people who are in your position would be like, oh, it's just easy, like, for him just to be him.
I don't want to be easy. Why do I want to be easy for? That's shit. I want him to be, like, champion. I want him to know, like, he can do whatever he wants. You don't do that by just giving him things and not showing him what it takes. Like, he washes my car with me, yeah? And I love washing my car all of a sudden. I've never done that in my life. All of a sudden, I love washing my car, yeah? And the reason I started doing it is because I wanted to show him the difference between doing it himself and then going to pay for it. And I say, right, what do you want? You can either have a toy or they can wash the car for you. No, you can't have a toy and they're going to wash the car for you, or you can wash the car and you get a toy. And he's picking washing the car every time now. It's important. Because entitlement is actually like the worst thing you can have. And I'm never going to raise an entitled child. It's not going to happen. Never. I don't agree with it. Entitlement is the worst thing you can have as a person. And feeling like you're better than someone. Fuck that. I don't agree with that.
As you're saying all this, I'm thinking of my brother Joe, who he's the only one who hasn't had kids yet out of my other siblings. So, like, how does he ensure that he does this with his kid? Like, keeps consistent with it, make sure he does this with his kids?
It's down to him, innit? Is how much does he want it? Like, I'm always all in. The other thing as well, look, I've got ADHD and it's hereditary, yeah? So if I feel like my son could have it, I need to do the things to make sure that he can take authority. Because I grew up with no authority. Someone pushes me, I can't have it. And like, I lose my temper. I don't want him to have that. He goes to a very good school. I want him to learn. I want him to be able to be told, but then at the same time, not be dictated to. It's all things I teach my son. He's free. He knows if they try to teach him something in school that he don't want to know, he don't have to learn it. He can ask, say, I don't want to learn this. But he has to have a good reason to not to. But then at the same time, he has to be polite and respectful. If they think they're going to start teaching my kids all that madness that they're teaching in schools, it ain't never going to happen. He knows that at 3, he'll tell you. That's important. And that's what I want from my kid. If something happens to me and I'll leave the planet early, what morals have I put into this kid to make sure that he's got a better chance at life? And that's it. That's what I personally feel.
And how is it with Georgia?
What?
Raising your child?
It's tough. It's tough because we've both got different ways of doing things. And when I was strict with Brody from really young, she used to really be like, don't tell him off, da-da-da. Nah. When he don't go to bed, and she goes, oh, I'm going to tell daddy, and he goes and gets in bed. Nah, she loves it. So I've got another one on the way. It's end of November. Little girl.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And I think I'll be very different with a girl. But Brody's the leader. Brody's going to have to look after his sister. He's got to look after his cousin, which is Ben's little boy. And Brody's going to have to be the governor. And he knows that. So if I say, oh, bro, look at that grid over there. He's the governor. He goes, I'm the governor. What are you talking about? Governor is slang for the boss. So, yeah, we've had our ups and downs, but I feel like she knows. And George's dad come in the other day and actually said to me, do you know what? You've really done a good job with this boy. Well done. And that makes me proud.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, man.
Is it fair to say that in April last year, your life changed?
Yeah. Completely. Yeah.
Can you tell me more about it?
What, when I lost a baby? Yeah, I lost a baby, man. And I think nothing ever... miscarriage is such a big thing, man. Like, a lot of people lose babies, 25%.
So my sister's been through it twice.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. But I don't feel anywhere near as much as she or her husband must feel it.
Yeah, of course, because you never met the baby. And you never went to any of their scans and you didn't get that close to it. But when you start planning your life around something and it don't happen... Look, say for example, you're going to the AJ fight this weekend and you're gassed and you've got your ticket and you've told your friends you've got your outfit, you're ready to go and it gets cancelled. You're going to be so upset, you know? You've just based your like a whole weekend to go there. Imagine basing your life on something and it just goes like that. That's fucking naughty, man. It's a feeling that you can't explain. And it's worse for the woman, of course, because she's holding the baby and she has to go through the surgical stuff, yeah? But for the man, I've got a 2-year-old, man. I have to make sure at least... was he 2 at the time? No, he was 1. He was 1, nearly 2, innit, when it happened. I've got to make sure that I'm there to be the dad and I've got to hold things together and then I've got to do this financially. Then I've got to make sure that my missus is all right and her head's going with it. She can't work out what's happened. And then you get this mad, like, postnatal depression, what comes with it. But I think George's been very good with. But at the same time, I've got a TV show filming me. So I can't even take 2 minutes out because I have to structure how this is going to fucking work because we've got cameras in our face. And at the same time, being fucked over in business by people. At my lowest point. So, yeah, life does change. But God forgive me for saying this, for the better. The biggest lesson I've had in my life, and I'm so grateful for what happened. I'm so grateful for what happened. I'm not going to be a victim about it. And I'm not going to lie. It shaped me to be a man.
How did you navigate it together with your...
You don't, man.
Wife?
You don't. You don't, man. You're just there. You're just there and it just is what it is, bruv. It's grief.
Yeah.
Depends how you take it. As I said, I refuse to become a victim. So I have to move forward. I'm not going to give up my life because of it. I've got other things that need my attention. Brody needs my full attention. The whole time I was thinking, all right, well, he's 1.5, well, he's nearly 2. This is when he needs me the most. This is where he gets his personality. This is where his morals come. This is where he needs to learn. I cannot I need to be there. And it was where everything changed in my life. I realised I was in the wrong place with Mallet. I realised there was more to life than going through this shit. And everything changed. Just like that. And that's what happened. It's called a wake-up call. And just don't snooze it, man. Just get up. You got to get up. You got to get up and you got to keep it moving. And I thank God every day, man, that I've got so much good around me because after that, I've met thousands of people who lost kids and a lot of them have never had kids in the first place. I've got the best thing ever, which is my little boy. So I'm thankful every day for that. But yeah, I can't tell you how to get through this sort of grief. It's just you can do your best, innit? For me, turning over and snoozing an alarm doesn't work. Get up and make it happen. But we'll come out of it now. We're getting there. We've got a little girl coming, which was George's dream.
How's Georgia doing?
She's amazing. She's amazing. She's off her head as well, though. I always say she lives in one of them, you know, them snowballs at Christmas. You shake it, and all the balls of snow, and it's like you turn it around and it plays like twinkle music. I think that's her head. Like I think she lives there. It's amazing. She's in her bubble, and it's a brilliant place to be. She's an amazing mum. She does everything we need. but she's just in her own world, and that's why I love it. I think it's amazing.
What would you do without her?
God knows. I'd never know, do you? Until you lose it, man. But she'd probably say I'd have fuck all. I'd probably say I don't know. Listen, we work well. We work very well together. We've had a very rocky few years with everything that's gone on with ADHD to that, and us nearly breaking up, to having a baby, to losing it, then going through IVF to have this baby. But we're still here, and life's great, man. Life's good, innit? Yeah. As long as you're getting up every day, brother. That's what matters. You get up every single day, you have to be thankful. Because no matter what, you think that you're having the worst time in the world. A couple of weeks later, you get through it. It's never as bad as it seems.
I keep looking at it on your arm there. You've got it tattooed, gratitudes.
Yeah, man.
It seems that's a way you live your life.
You have to, innit? Like, when I was... It's always the next thing. When I was, like, praying for this life, I was like, I'll do anything to be here. Well, you're here now. Now fucking do anything. Be grateful for what you've got. Everything else around you, if you have shit days, just be thankful still. The way I've learned is this, yeah? If you can find the silver lining, right, you'll always learn from it and be able to move forward. But if you sit there and go, oh, why'd that happen to me? You're never going to move forward. I just want lessons from it. There's a million lessons. You go through the life, you get the lessons. And I'm thankful every single day for who I am. I'm thankful for being here. I'm thankful for the shit I've been through. I'm thankful for the good times. Thankful for everything, because it ain't just a straightforward life. It's just how it goes. And how good would the story be if it was? It'd be shit. Steve Madden's a big inspiration of mine, you know.
Really?
A very big inspiration of mine. If you watch the Steve Madden documentary, yeah, it shows
on Amazon Prime, right?
I'm not too sure where it is, but I encourage anyone to watch it. This guy was a drug addict. He's got ADHD. He was a drug addict. He went jail. He got involved with like the Wolf of Wall Street things. He's still £1 billion business. That guy there has been through so much shit. And when you watch his story, he still just cares about the shoes. He just loves it still. And he's still so thankful. He's like, yeah, I love jail, man. I met some proper good people in there. For me, he's someone I look at and go, wow, he ain't that CEO and that boss who's just got that clean cut life. He's lived a proper life. It's amazing. And for me, I took a lot of inspiration from that too. So that's why I'm grateful, because I watch people like that and they got through the other end of it. And I'm sure I will.
So, right, I've been in business for like 7 years-ish, because I started when I was 17, 18. So I've been in quite a long time for my age. But through that, I don't know whether you can relate, but like I've been quite emotionless. So like, as a kid, I was like the complete opposite. So I was quite emotional. Like I would cry a lot as like a child. But like since I would turn 17, 18, I just lost it all, and genuinely can't remember the last time I cried. I think business teaches you to become less emotional and more like outcome driven and like focused.
First time it does.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's all my experience so far. Because showing negative can kind of be perceived as like a weakness. You think it is. And it feels like you could get it exposed. But I listened to you. I was sitting in the car and listening to you talk about ADHD. And I was getting really emotional. Like it was one of the first times in a while where I've like choked up. And I'm like choking up now thinking about it, because it's taking me back, because I was literally...
Cry, there you are.
I was
Take your glass off and cry, bro.
I don't think I can.
Do it.
I was driving home from London last week.
Look at your eyes.
It was literally a week ago.
Yeah.
And I was relating to everything you were saying. So about like energy crashes, your mind's not being able to rest, not being able to control what you're thinking, your reaction to fizzy drinks, like even just a minuscule thing like that, your mood swings, your approach to social events. This was a massive one. You were saying like social events, in an hour, this will be over. I'll just get through this hour. That's me. That's me as well. And a big one for me is personally, I don't know whether this is the same for you, but it's like when you talk to other people, you ask them a question and then you just take in zero of what they've just said to you. I do it with Chris all the time, and and I have to say to him, I'm like, Chris, I'm so sorry. I've just said that to you, but I don't know what you've said. He's probably smiling out there now, because I do it all the time. And I relate to every bit that you explain, because if I'm being totally honest, I'm scared to go and get tested for it, Because I don't know whether I've told the story before, but when I was in school, 17, sixth form, so college, I was so down. I was so upset. I was so angry with life. I was playing a victim. So I went to the doctors because I was just so sad all the time, and they prescribed me so quickly with antidepressants.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. So then I took them for 2 days.
Yeah.
And then I showed my dad, because it runs in the family, depression. And my dad had depression when we were all growing up that I didn't know about until I spoke to him about these. And he was like, do not take them. He's like, you're so young, do not take them. And now looking back, I wasn't depressed. I wasn't at all. I was in sixth form college. I was going out partying every weekend. I wasn't exercising. I wasn't doing anything sociable. Anything that was sociable involved drinking, whatever. So the reason why I'm so scared to get tested for ADHD is to kind of put a label on it.
Yeah, you don't know.
But your experience is different.
Are you unhappy?
No. But I think you could always be happier.
You're unfulfilled.
Yeah, 100%. At this moment in time, yeah.
Take it, man. Do your thing, bruv. I'm not on no medication at the moment, by the way. I stopped it. I come off it. I've gone completely natural. Because I've done it and I feel like it got me to where I needed to be, but it also made me quite intense at the same time. And it was like a shortage on tablets. And I was like, this is running my life. I'm worried that they're going to go out of stock and I'm going to be brain dead. So I just had one day off and it was fine. So now I do natural stuff and I feel amazing, man.
What type of natural stuff?
I do take cod liver oils. I take lion's mane mushroom gummies.
I've heard of them. I've tried to take them, but I never stay consistent.
I don't think any of them make me any different. I feel like it's is it called the placebo effect? We said the other day, the placebo effect. Look, without the medication, I just can't read. So I can't read at the moment, but I can do a WhatsApp and I'm fine. But I've always got someone around me who can read for me. But at the moment, I've come off the tablets and I feel really happy, man, because I feel like I'm doing what I love, so I'm cool. But mate, life's not all about having to have the answers all the time. If you want to go and get tested, go and get tested. But unless it's ruining your life, chill, man. Got time. You're young, bro. How old are you?
24.
Started mallet when I was 23, man. It's like you don't have to rush and put a title on everything and be in the same place as everyone else. Take your time. Take it easy. Keep it moving. I was sniffing a load of gear at your age, I think. I was just fucking absolutely smashing packet out in Liverpool. Did I think I'd be here? Yeah, I still knew I'd be here. I've gone through the ups and downs. I've been through every single part of it. The medication was there when I needed it. I feel like it really helped me during the court case. It really helped me when losing the baby. But at the same time, I'm feel happy without it right now. Do I feel like I use the ADHD thing sometimes? Yes, I do. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like I might have a little bit of entitlement around it, and I feel like I've been using it a lot, especially I'm looking at one of my team members in there. I've had to stop saying it because I'm going, oh, sorry, it's my ADHD. No, you're just being a cunt. Stop it. It's hard being in your own head. So it is nice knowing that you're not completely mad when you get that people tell you, but I also think it's really overdiagnosed. And everyone I speak to about it tells me I got the same symptoms. So it's either we're normal people, right? Or ADHD is just fucking it's mad. All of us got the same thing. Any man you speak to says the same thing. But we're always on social media looking at other people's lives. We're always fucking doing certain stuff that makes us want to be the next thing all the time. There's so much pressure on this generation. Take a breath, man. Chill. You're doing well. There's no rush. Got time. I did have Brody till I was 29. I made my first million, to be fair. I made that at 26, I think. But the intenseness going to that was mad. We put ourselves under too much pressure, man. It's nice to just chill sometimes. Don't rush in to do anything. If you feel like it's ruined your life, you need to go and get tested, go and do it. But if you can just carry on training, going for your run and things like that, I honestly feel like till it comes to the point where you really feel like you need help, then don't do it.
Is that why you did it? Did you think it was ruining your life?
Yeah, man. I was mad, man. Absolute lunatic. I was breaking up with Georgia. I was crazy. Couldn't handle crying at the baby. I didn't know why my head was working a certain way. I thought that this was me forever. I thought I was just fucked. I thought I was dyslexic. I'd been told I was useless my whole life. I just thought, fuck this. I hate the world. And I realised that, hold on a minute, stop doing that, you'll be alright. Why are you drinking Red Bulls? Why are you smoking fags? Why are you smoking a vape? Are you giving yourself anxiety vaping? What is wrong with you? You're just fucking going out and having a beer and then having a toot. Like, are you mad? Right? You know what you're doing to yourself? It's all fun when it's there, but it's all of it is you chasing dopamine. That's all it is. Doing drugs, drinks, gambling. All of it is the next dopamine fix. It's all short-lived. It's all fake. So go and find the stuff that does the real one for you. Best one for me. I don't do it much. Running down that embankment on a Sunday morning at like 7 a.m. and I know it sounds mad. Seeing people how I used to be, like coming home from raves, and I feel better about myself. Things like that just bring natural dopamine. Playing paddle, good dopamine.
Yeah.
Lifting weights, good dopamine. Ice baths, good dopamine. I'm not practicing that at the minute. I'm not really doing all that at the minute. I'm just doing bits and pieces. You can feel better, man. It's never as bad as you feel in your head. You got to snap out of it sometimes. But listen, another thing. I make a lot of people emotional when I talk because I can tell a story very well and I can hit you. So don't think that you're all of a sudden got the same as me, because you ain't. You might just be feeling something at that time. You're reading that well and you're fucking talking well. So, and you ain't moving. So I think you're all right. I think you're right. I think you're just trying to rush too much. Just take it easy, man. It'll come.
How did you understand that patience was important? Because there must have been, when you were growing mallet, like you said, you were going so intensely. Brody. That's when patience was like...
Completely.
Oh, life is
completely
long.
Yeah, to be fair, the patience with business really goes against you, man. I feel like now I've got patience, it really stopping me be as good as I used to be with when I never had patience, because I'd just be so like impulsive making decisions. And yeah, I'd make a lot of wrong decisions, but the right would overdo the wrong.
Because you made so many decisions.
Yeah,
a lot
when
of them
now
were
I
right.
just like, I don't procrastinate on things. I'm still faster than most people, but I think about things a lot more and I ask people's opinions, but I never used to before. But you need that. Because otherwise you've got no patience with your kids, and it ain't about business. It's about life's more than just business, man. So if I had to weigh it up and say, well, I had to do that to be the best father I could be, then fuck it. I'll take anything. I'll give whatever it takes. But patience is important for family, man. It's very important. Now I'm around some people and they're like, and they fucking do my head in. And I'm like, that used to be me.
Yeah.
But it's, mate, listen. I feel like in life, yeah, everything happens at the right timings. So when it gets there and it feels like the change needs to come, make the change. When you feel like you've made the change and you can kick back, kick back. The whole intense part of everything having to be perfect all the time is false. You'll never be fulfilled being like that. It's not going to happen. Never. It's like, I see the thing about your warehouse getting robbed, didn't it? How do you feel about that right now?
To be totally honest, I think I've been very stoic about it, to be like, that's life. It's happened. As long as we get our insurance money, then the worst that's happened is we've had to reduce some hours of most people in the company. A few people have left because of it, but the ones who stick around us are the ones that really want to help me and the company. Overall, it's a net positive.
And do you know what it is? Because you wanted, when you ask for things and you want the best people who are going to push you and take you forward in your life, yeah? I've been here, man. I had 25 staff. When shit goes against you, the people you think are going to be there for you are never there for you.
This year, by far, has been the hardest in terms of people.
For everyone.
For everyone, but for me.
Yeah.
And also being like, who actually wants to be here and who is here for a job. And I've found it so difficult trying to navigate through it.
So can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When you got your business doing 100 million, would you say, I'll give £1 million to find who the snakes are and to find who's got my best interest at heart and who's the ones around me who are really here for my best interest? You would do it, wouldn't you? You'd pay it.
Yeah.
Would you pay the money?
Yeah.
Well, you just paid it up front, man. You know who's around you now. You got the good people around you. You've navigated yourself through it. It's a lesson. You've learned it early. All the people who was there for the good times have gone. This year's been a learning curve for everyone. My wedding list is halved for my next wedding. People I thought was there for me forever was never there for me, man. Did I block them from probably helping me? Yes. But in this time of me going through this litigation, nah, man. Some of the top people I thought was my family was not there for me.
They were there for the other person, or
No, they
just
just
not
weren't
there
there.
at all?
Not there. There's no existence in my life no more.
Not
Gone.
checking in?
Gone. No, not even just not checking in, just gone. No longer there. Like, I don't know what happened. I've lost contact with them. People I'd see every day, I've just not seen. When it's up against you, man, just what happens. It's facts that happens.
Why do you think that is?
People got their own problems, innit? You don't expect everyone to take yours on as well. You become a bit negative and people think, oh, fuck that, I can't be around that. It's just what happens.
But those situations and experiences reveal the people who mean something to you and the closest to you.
Facts. Like, mate, I'm more powerful with 3 people around me than I was with 100. And that's why I asked you. When you get to 100 million, you'd have paid the money to cut away all these fuckers anyway. So it's good they've gone.
Yeah.
So now you're going to go and fly. It's just how it works. Mate, life's a funny old thing, man. You got to take it as it comes. It's just the way it is, isn't it? And we're lucky, and we're going to keep pushing. And then when you get there and you cheer at the end, you're going to have the people around you as proper. Listen to Phil Knight, Shoe Dog, at the end of it, when they IPO'd the company, the people who was around him, there was like 4 or 5 of them was there from the start. They was all together. They'd got rid of all the wrong uns. That's what happens, man. Yeah, it's a funny old game, innit?
I've got one more selfish question.
Go on.
So obviously we're in my new studio here in London. I've just moved in with my girlfriend. Obviously, it's although I'm taking it pretty chill, pretty relaxed. It's quite a big step. You've been through it. What advice would you give me for moving in with my girlfriend?
Oh, mate, do you know what? Yeah, my first flat was not even half the size of this. Yeah, and my wardrobe was shared with me and Georgia, and I reckon you could get one wardrobe there, and you could have to go in sideways. We lived on top of each other so badly in that flat, it sent me insane, and we nearly broke up about 100 times. Like, try and keep like all your stuff to a minimum, and like don't give yourself a little bit of space. Like, very important, give yourself a little bit of space. And my one thing as well was I used a different bathroom to my missus as well. Well, now Brody's nicked mine because he's got a big boy room. But I've always used a different bathroom because I used to be pissed off. Hurry up, we're getting ready. You're leaving eyelashes everywhere. Da 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 da. Give yourself space. But it's a big step, innit?
Yeah, yeah.
And you're fucked now, man. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. It's a lovely place, though. Congratulations, man.
No, thank you. It's a long time coming. Like I said to you before, I wanted to move to London because if you're not in the arena, you don't win the game. And I really want to do something with this podcast. I think there's a massive gap in interviewing people solely just for fashion, but also hearing their life stories as well. This podcast called Everybody Wants to Be Us. What I do with every guest is, if someone wants to be more like you, how would they do it? So don't tell me. I've got a pen and paper. Write it down, put it in a tip jar, and then we'll do something with it further down the line. Tommy, thank you so much.
It was my absolute pleasure, brother. Congratulations with all your business. Keep smashing it. And don't give up.
How'd you find it?
Have we finished?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
We're done. Thank you
Absolutely fantastic, brother. Good, you've done really well.